And that's not a good start. Okay. Greetings all, and welcome back to Porthos Plays. It is episode 11, and in between episodes, we have completed the forging of the Khazad weapons. As you can see here, we have the Khazad axe with its Orc Bane enchantment, the maul, and the mattock, which actually has proven to be very effective against the big armoured enemies. And we've also completed the Balin's Company shield, which I have applied our channel colour tint to, same as the armour, as well as the Drimmeril spear, which we have given the anti-beast enchantment to, the hunter enchantment. With these, we will be able to proceed out into Dwaradelf, where I am going to try and take on the troll here in this tile and hopefully discover more of the city. And once we've explored all of this area here, whatever it may bring, we will then move on down into the Desolation. However, before we do that, these weapons are not the only thing that I've been doing in between episodes, because as you can see here, the walkway back into the large room now has a door, because I have decided, after all, to set up a base in here, which I have done between episodes as well. The reason for that is because the other locations were simply too far away for practical use, up and down, and losing lots of time when fast travelling and energy and things like that, because the game does actually deduct the time and spend the time when you fast travel between mapstones, and I was not finding anywhere in Dwaradelf that was suitable. So this one, of course, has much space, much more space than the one we had before. So much so, in fact, that I've had to build 3 hearths. So this is a lodge hearth. This is from the Beorn's Lodge DLC. And we have one of those here, which allows us to cover that entrance there where we've put in the door. We have another one of those in the centre of the tile here, past where we have some farming. So we have mushrooms and cave honey and other crops growing here. And then another lodge hearth in the centre here, which covers the centre section. And that door over there is blocking the only other entrance in, which leads back towards the eastern stairs and the Balin's Company outpost. And then round the back here we have a third hearth. So we've got our rally stone and old pickaxes there with the delve chest. Old weapons on racks here. Here is the map stone, above which we have our spellcarver steel battle axe for ironwood gathering. It's just conveniently located right next to the map stone there for when we want to go down to the drain pumps or other areas of the lower deeps to gather that. And then back here we have a grand hearth, and this was the first one that I put in, and the middle one was required because the grand hearth at this end and the lodge hearth at the other end had a slight gap in between them, which actually meant that I wasn't able to cover that door over there. So I had to put in the middle one as well. But we've got a grand hearth here, we've got our Ufahan furnace proudly displayed at the top of these stairs where it actually kind of fits a decent size. And then either side of this platform we've got our ore pallets down here. And on this side, we have stone and wood pallets. And then there will be, in due course, the Kuzdul Forge will go in the centre here. I was kind of hoping that these little rubble piles or remnants of the old bits of stone and stools and things that you see around would disappear when I put the hearth in. Some indications online that they might disappear just at some point in time, but that hasn't happened yet. But either way, at the moment, we don't currently have the resin that we need to build the Kuzdul Forge because I had to use so much resin putting in the hearths. So we do need to collect some resin before we can put that in, but we don't need it at the moment, so I'm hanging on for that one just for a little bit. We've got some chests either side here with storage of some of our other building materials, including our many metal fragments. On the other side, we've got ingots and things that we've smelted up, because I haven't put pallets in for those. This little cubby off to the side houses the workbench, the repair smithy, rune table loom, and things like that, with a little storage chest here which contains all of the abac materials, because the abac is crafted on the workbench, not that we've really made much use of those so far. And then finally, over here, we have our little cook's area. So I've put in the meal table here, and you can see Einar is busy having some, I think that's meat skewers. We've got our roasting pit here with Neethi the cook working hard. And I have now put in a cook's pantry. So what I've done is I've discovered as well, I showed the priority selections in a previous episode. What I didn't realise was that you can only actually have one selected. So if I select the roasted fruit as a priority, and I then go down to the roasted parsnips and select that, you'll see that the tick here that's on the roasted fruit, when I click on here, disappears and changes to the roasted parsnips. So there's only one priority meal. So instead of doing that, what I've done is I've made sure to only put in the cook's pantry the ingredients for specific things. So these 2 items up here, the crab apples and the cranberries, those make the roasted fruit breakfasts. Parsnips and honey for the roasted parsnips, and then we've got meat and mushrooms, which are ingredients for, I think it's glazed meat skewers. No, that's honey as well. Which one is it that the mushrooms go on? Oh, actually, no, I put the mushrooms in there just because I needed to use them up because I had so many. But it's the glazed meat skewers that are intended to be the supper. And then we have a brew kettle out here where I have got evening ale in there now. I've put the dwarves' beds in here. I did hope to use this house where I have put my treasure trove on the ground floor. These treasure caches are almost enough to have one per gemstone that we discovered. I am short on coins to build up to have one each, but there's still plenty of storage for what we do have. And then here is Sigbert, who is in the process of repairing all of these old buildings. He's repaired all of this up around us here. And up here I have my bed. And I have put in one of these build lore shelves. We don't have the resources necessary to put in the second one. So build lore shelves I think I've built, but build lore case we need amber for. We don't have enough amber for that at the moment because we've used amber to dye our gear and to dye Einar's gear as well. I did try and put the dwarves' beds up here, but they said they were obstructed from them, which is strange because we have just seen Sigbert come down the stairs. So they can get up here, but for some reason, when it comes to going to bed, they don't seem to think they can get up here. But that's it. That's the new base location, which is obviously much closer to Dwaradelf and also has considerably more space, which was becoming a bit of an issue in our old base. It was getting pretty cramped in there with the pallets and the bedrolls and the treasure caches in the base down in the mines of Moria. So we've put that in between episodes. And now what we're going to do is we're going to head out into Dwaradelf and we're going to look to get past that troll. Okay, so here we are back at the tile with the troll, and the troll is just there, just inside it.
Did he see us?
And I think what we're going to try with this one is we're going to try the Drimril Spear, because I have the Hunter enchantment on that, and I think that might give us some more damage to the troll. So let's give that a go. Hopefully any orcs that were in here, he's taken care of for us already. So let's give him a nice big hit to start him off. Oh, that's not a good start. Even the new spear is still giving us the... I need a better weapon, so let's try the mattock. Still not great. Okay. Oh, and he goes through our block as well. So it's definitely a dodge and weave situation. So interestingly, even these new Khazad weapons are not enough to take out this troll. So that's not ideal. And he is giving our armor a pretty heavy beating here. And the stamina is not really there for rolling out the way as much as I would like. It's less than ideal. Let's just take a bit of a retreat here for a second and see if we can soften him up a bit. What arrows do we have equipped? Let's equip, yeah, Khazad arrows. Only doing 6 and 9 damage. Oh dear. Let's see how many. We're out of arrows. Let's try the crossbow. Where's he gone? Where is he? I can't see him. It's too dark. Well, that's a bit better. 20 from the crossbow with Khazad bolts. Here he comes. He's coming back. Well, this is going to take some patience. We can get 30 damage with a headshot. But he isn't staying engaged for very long, so this is going to take a little bit of time. We're going to chip away at him, and hopefully we will manage to defeat him before we run out of bolts, and then we can push on through this tile. Okay, well, we have run out of bolts, and as you can see, the troll is still tossing rocks at us, so it's time to toughen up a bit, be brave, and head on in there and see if we can get him with the rest of his damage with the mattock. Oh, there we go. Only a few more hits were required at that point. So there we go. The troll is down, and we can now explore this large tile and the connections that it has without any more danger. And there's some gold in here as well, which is great. Cool. So as you can see in the minimap, we are in the one of the two branches that comes off the first troll cave. And I'm not sure how well you can hear it in the background, but there's another troll in here. So we're not going to go that way because definitely can't fight another troll right now. But I am going to poke my head into this next tile before I head back to replenish my armor and sleep, because I would like to see where it leads, having avoided the shadow. So have a quick look in here. Cool, this looks like a bit of a more of a normal Desolation tile. Quite a bit of shadow in here, it looks like. Oh, that purple light might not be shadow, but there's definitely shadow on this side. And some damaged constructions and a chest. A bit of loot, including another Ranger's Journal page. Aha! That chest belongs to the Ranger's camp. Excellent. So we have 14 of the 6 required Ranger's Journal pages for the city of Dwarrowdale. So let's rebuild that. And we have unlocked the Dawnbreak Pale Ale. Let's have a quick look. Oh, no, that's not the button we wanted. This one. Into the brew kettle. Dawnbreak Ale. So this says, prevents and cures the despair of shadow and darkness from taking hold. So this is a great thing to be having with you as you explore. So it might be time to put together a few more brew skins and a few more brew kettles down in the new base. We have plenty of space now, of course. So we can carry Dawnbreak, we can carry Evening Ale, and probably maybe even Sour Pills and Ironheart Stout as well, which is poison resistance and damage resistance. But that's a great one to have found. So let's go back to the chest and deposit the remaining pages. And then I think it's probably time now to head back to base and repair up the gear and have a good rest. Okay guys, well I've just repaired the statue here and it's granted me iron ore and coal, so that tells us definitively that there are no more recipes to find in the Dwarrowdale area, which does mean, I guess, that the recipes for the rest of the armor must come from somewhere else. Perhaps they are provided for opening the Great Forge or something like that. But what we're going to do now is we're going to get ourselves a raised floor here and dig our way through this barrier at a higher level so that we don't get caught in the shadow, and see what's on the other side. Okay, well, we made it across that shadow, and this room is just a regular sort of city tile. I picked up another Ranger's Journal page in here, but there doesn't seem to be anything particularly of note, and the only connection is one that goes back to that first tile of the Desolation. So that means it's time to move on to the Desolation, and we're going to come through here and we're going to pick up a statue here, which I must have walked straight past when I came through this tile before. Or are we on a different level? Let's have a quick look at the map here. We are on a different level, of course. The Desolation is down a ways from the first entrance. This is one more tile of Dwarrowdale where there is a statue, but of course we know that we have already completed all the statues. So even if I rebuild this, it's only going to give me iron and coal. And there are some orcs in here, but other than that, it looks like it's time to head back to base, reset, and head down into the Desolation. Oh, look at that Mattock doing its work there. Much better to have that than the old weapons. Okay, so before I've gone into the big tile of the Desolation that we explored in the previous episode, I have gone through this other connection first of all. And I have discovered this room with a passage down. So there's a vertical connection in here that leads down. It looks like there's also Musnaken carving, Telchar's Musnaken carving. So the Desolation area must have another Musnaken chest. And there was some orcs fighting over here. So let's see how our new gear does against the Gundabad orcs. Well, that's looking pretty good. And there was some Gundabad slag drop there, so I think he was a Gundabad orc. So that's promising to see that our gear is strong against them, because we are going to be taking some of them on in a moment as we go through the Desolation, I'm sure. Let's head through to this next tile. Okay. So that connection must be on a different height, so let's have a quick look at the map. Yeah, so the connection here that we're seeing is actually down the vertical connection. So Durin's Forge is showing on the map here on this height, and then down at the lower level is Fra's outpost, which is on the level below. So Fra's outpost objective has actually appeared because in between episodes while I was working on building the new base, I chanced across a book in the Barlin's Company outpost that we had missed before, which involved some mention of Fra's outpost. And of course, the next outpost, I think the final outpost, should give us the Akfa chest that will tell us where to find the final fragment of Durin's axe. So that will be a good thing to be finding, but we're going to have to work our way through this big desolation tile before we can do that. And the statues in this area, as we'll see now, are things that still give us recipes. So, and that's where we get the Khazad armor from. So we're already wearing the Khazad army helmet, and that's the first fragment of the Khazad army armor, which has come from the statues in the Desolation. So, got to have to keep a good sharp eye out for those. We can unlock the rest of that armor set.
Pesky thieves! You're here.
Okay, well, that was the voice of the dragon, who I think is probably hiding around the corner. I'm just going to go across this bridge here and see if she is on the other side. Oh, there she is.
Moria is mine now.
Khazad-dûm is the home of Durin's folk.
Oh, you abandoned it like cowards. I took it. Me and my brood.
Cool, so she's off, but she's left some drakes behind. So let's see how this goes.
I need a better weapon.
Not a good start. Oh, fell beasts, not even drakes. Fell beasts. And that's not a good start. Okay. They do quite big hits. 56 damage to the armor. Let's try the axe. I think, although the axe is slightly softer hitting, we might be getting a slightly higher damage per second out of it than we are the mattock. There's another one up there, which is frustrating because the tail attack even breaks through the shield. Come on, do some more damage. Well, the head doesn't appear to be a valid target very easily, which is not very good. The hitbox isn't particularly well defined, so even though I'm up close to its head, I'm not actually doing any damage on some of my swings there, which is quite annoying. Oh dear. Let's try the mattock again. Oh, we're taking damage now. Oh. Okay, well, that was one. I think there's another one up there, and that was a pretty tough fight. So, what have we got here? Khazad arrows, but no bolts. I'm not sure we're quite ready to take on that second fell beast. So we might have to head back to camp and replenish our armor and come back here again in a minute. However, I did bring with me some stone, some coal, and some black diamonds with which to make ourselves a little hearth and camp set. So rather than having to walk all the way back, we should be able to use these materials to build a hearth and a mapstone here and bounce back to the camp and then come back out, which would be particularly useful. So I think I'm going to do that, and then we'll check back in once we're back here with our armor repaired, ready to take on the next beast. Okay, so here we are back in the Desolation. Put my little camp together down here, which will be my little base hub for a little while we work our way across here. And I've put these quick platforms in so that we can climb up to this next level. And I think we'll find there's a Drake or a Fell Beast up here to take on when we do. Let's have a look. Oh, There certainly was one when we were here earlier. Well, I'm sure that... Oh, there it is. Where do you roam? Oh, wait, okay, yeah. So it roams back over here at its leisure. So here we go. What can we do with it? See, why doesn't that hit it? Whoa! Ooh, I was somewhat concerned that was going to be a further fall there. Ooh, it has a ranged attack. Okay. It shoots shadow at me, apparently. Ooh, that was a big hit. Oh, and now with Shadow Coast. Okay, this is not a happy enemy to be fighting. If I just drop down here. Does it follow? Come on. Come down here and have a little playtime. I'm struggling to get close enough to actually hit it, which is quite frustrating. Okay, taking actual damage now. There we go. Right. Excellent. Some scales and some fine leather from defeating the Fell Beast. And then there is a bridge to repair over there. Ooh. Hello, Bat. You're a slightly less problematic winged enemy. There we go. Right, so we can't go down here. There is a big chasm. So we do need to cross this bridge before we can go any further in the Desolation. But I'm going to gear back up before we try and do that. And, oh, no, there is somewhere we can go without crossing the bridge. Interesting. Frar's outpost is over there. And Durin's Forge is over there. So I will explore down this lower section first, I think. Before heading across the bridge. But first I am going to go back and get some armor. Hopefully there'll be no more Fell Beasts. And it will just be Gundabad Orcs to take on. Which these new weapons are pretty good against. So we're going to go back and re-equip. And we'll be back in just a hot second. Okay, so here we are, back at the Desolation with our armor repaired. I've dismantled my little camp there, because what I'm hoping we can do here is push through to Frar's outpost and hopefully put it in there instead. And then we'll have a slightly more correct, not correct perhaps, but more substantial place to base up while we come in and out of the Desolation. But there's definitely some orcs, big Uruks to contend with here, so let's let them fight these wargs, see if we can sneak around the back. Oh, no, we can't sneak around the back. We've walked straight into one.
That's one more for me.
They do seem to be quite well occupied by the warg and fighting each other. We've got some Gundabads and some Red Eyes in here, I think. Different factions fighting one another. And as you can see there, these new weapons, although they were a little bit lacking against the Fell Beasts, against the Orcs, both Gundabad and Red Eye Orcs, very effective. So, I'm going to keep exploring around here until I find some more interesting stuff, and ideally one of those things will be Frar's outpost. Okay, so, just spotted there as I was exploring, there it is again, a subtitle. I can't actually hear anything, but there's a subtitle there which I'm pretty sure is a dwarf. So we've got a survivor dwarf around here somewhere, which we need to keep an eye out for. I don't see the little arrow marker that indicates their presence yet, but they must be close by. So got to keep our eyes peeled for that. Going to climb up these rocks here. See what's up here.
The Nazgul's mounts were bred by Sauron from a Shazorn? This dragon? And now she wants Moria for herself, no matter the destruction. She must be stopped.
So that's referring to the fact that the Nazgul's flying beasts were in fact fell beasts. So what we've just fought two of earlier on are those very creatures, and that's what the Nazgul used to ride. So there's an orc there. There's Fraz's outpost. Let's pop in here. Haven't found the survivor yet, but here is the next outpost. Cool, we'll start with rebuilding the hearth. Lovely. And let's check out this building. There should be an Akfor chest in here somewhere. I think that might be it there. Here we go. So the recipe for Fraz's key has been found. Let's see. Tools. Fraz's key is also Khazad steel. So we are in a position to produce Fraz's key. Excellent stuff. Very pleased with that. Don't see... Oh, there it is. I was just about to say don't see a ruined mapstone, but here it is. So we'll repair that mapstone, and then here we are, well based in the Desolation area for the next little bit of exploring. Not going to pop back just yet. I'm going to keep pushing through and hopefully find the survivor dwarf. But it is exciting to have picked up the next recipe for the next key, because we can craft that up with a bit of gold next time we're back at our main base. Well, we still haven't found the survivor dwarf, but I have found the Telkar's... Oh! The survivor dwarf must be nearby because the search objective just came up. But we've just found Telkar's chest, and we've got one of the 12 required carvings so far, so there are some more to find. Let's have a quick look at the objective here. Rub some stone on it. There must be a survivor. There must be another survivor. There's signs of a fight nearby. Okay, so can I open this door? No. I have to break it down. Where is my new dwarven friend? Where are you? Gnarly, I think was the name I saw. Ah, there we are. There is an arrow along with this Gundabad encampment. Orc town here, but here is our new dwarven friend. Excellent. What do we got? Gnarly. Explosion survivor.
Oh, my head.
He tried to play riddles with an orc like old Bilbo. Right, well, we shall check his details. Oh, wow, he can build, cook, and metalwork. Interesting. So far we have a cook, Nethi. We have a metalworker, Einar, who we're using as a guard because I don't really have much use of forging ingots and such. Building, however, is a new skill, so I'm very interested to see what that looks like. We'll rescue him, send him to the Dwara Delve. We'll have to find him a new bed. And that was also completed the goal to find them all. So that's it. Just the 4 of them in the campaign. We won't get any more dwarves for our delves now until we complete the campaign and we move on to post-game stuff. But that's quite exciting to have found one more dwarf. So I'm going to keep exploring a little bit longer here. But before too long, I'm going to head back to our main camp through our mapstone here. And then we will check out those new dwarves and come back out in a bit. Okay, so here we are back in the main camp. It's night time, or we will be going to bed shortly, but I wanted to have a quick look at Gnarly here first of all. So he doesn't have a bed yet, so he's not very happy about that, but I want to see if there's any new recipes for tools to give him as a builder. I think probably he uses a hammer, so I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between him with a hammer and Sigbert over here who has a hammer. I'm just going to steal Sigbert's hammer. Yeah, okay. I'm going to steal your hammer for a minute, Sigbert. I'll give you a creel back. And let's see what happens if I give the hammer to... Oh, he won't take the hammer. Okay, so hammer isn't his tool. I wonder what is. That might take a bit of investigation, but while we think about that and maybe even ultimately look that up, I'm going to give him the salvager's creel so that he goes out and gathers stuff in particular from our farms. I need to make some Numenorian cloth to give him a bed, so we'll do that, and then we'll go to sleep ourselves, and we'll check back in when we're back out in the Desolation. Okay, so we are here in the Desolation again, and the bridge that leads to Durin's Forge is up there, and that's obviously the way to progress the game story. However, down here at the bottom of the tile, kind of at the side from where we fought the Felbeast earlier, connects back to the Desolation kind of map area in general, and probably connects in with this tile that we went to earlier on where we were in the upper level, and it connected down, but we've now found our way down here through this tile instead. So there's some connections here. There was a statue just behind me, just there, that you can see. And this is an area, or a tile rather, which leads down to what will presumably be a dark mine shaft. So that would be a place to go for more emeralds and other high-level gems in the future. But for a little bit now, we're going to continue to explore this area, which has some Ubasum trees similar to the lower deeps. In fact, this tile is exactly the same as one that's used in the lower deeps. And I'm going to continue exploring this area a bit before we head towards the forge, because it's possible that we might find what we need to get all of the Khazad army gear, and then we could craft up that set and maybe even take on the Dwarven Orc Town to get us a bit more set up. And as we come through here from that last Desolation tile, I'm noticing another gate to Durin's Highway here, so there's a curse.
The highway is blocked even here.
There's another gate here which has been locked off by Shadow, and we've got an objective to dispel the curse, which we can't do, I don't think. To my knowledge, we have no means to do that. And here is another Telkar's carving. So we've definitely got a lot of Desolation tiles here to explore, and I think I might do that a bit before I push on to the forge, because as I say, if we can pick up the recipes for the armor, we'll be much better equipped to take on the Horde, and we might even manage to take on an Orc Town or two as well. So, I've stumbled across, if I can find the map, the Nogrod Forge. So Durin's Forge is obviously around off the Desolation, but this is the Great Forge of Nogrod, which I guess is the next of the kind of regular Great Forges in the sequence, whereas Durin's Forge is maybe a little bit different, a little bit special. So I think what we're going to do is light this up, and then we will leave the episode here for today, as we have definitely got around to the time limit. So hopefully you've enjoyed the episode, and if you have enjoyed it, then please do consider leaving a like, and also consider subscribing so that you don't miss future episodes and the rest of the season. And we'll pick it up next time and continue exploring the Desolation. I'll see you next time. Well, I don't know what Einar, or Sigbert rather, thinks he was restoring there. He was just standing, hammering thin air. I was kind of hopeful he might be removing this rubbish pile, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Thanks for watching.